Good morning, everybody. You're probably wondering at this point, or maybe before this point, you guys call yourselves chasing landscapes. And Mary, you call yourself an artist. But we haven't ever seen you paint anything. Well, today's your lucky day. A short time ago, I started this painting of a place called Keys View, and it's in Joshua Tree National Park. I took a picture while I was at Keys View, and I really loved the picture. And so I started painting it a little while back, but I'd like to get back to this painting and show you kind of like what my procedure is, and to complete this painting because I think it's a really nice picture. And so we possibly will be doing this in installments, like not every episode will be about this, but I would like to keep you guys up to date on this picture as well as some other pictures that I would like to paint. They're mostly pictures that I've taken on our travels, hence the name Chasing Landscapes, and this is just one of them. But let's go and take a look at what I've done so far on this painting and what we'll continue to do to get it completed. All right, come along with me. Welcome to Chasing Landscapes. We're Jack and Mary, and we're full-time RVers, traveling the country and exploring new places. I'm an artist, and we're always looking to capture our adventures on canvas. So come along with us as we go chasing some landscapes. When I started this picture, I only had it on my phone, a picture of it on my phone. But this is the picture from Keys View. You're looking down into the Coachella Valley. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to prop this so you can see it as I'm painting. As it's going to go probably over here. But this is what I've done so far with the painting. I'm going to kind of draw in where the mountain comes up and then the foreground. But that's normally what you would do. You'd take care of the background first, and then you'd work your way forward in the painting. So we're just going to take it from here. Okay? A few things I want to point out is this is called a Masterson's wet palette. And yeah, it's kind of bulky in that, but this thing is pretty amazing. It's just old paint that's spilled and dried up. You have a cover for it so you can keep your paints wet. This is a sponge under here, and this is a piece of special paper, palette paper, that once you soak it, it keeps the paints moist for a long period of time. And all you have to do when you're done painting for the day or whatever, you would come in here and you would spray it with the little sprayer, mist all of your paints, and if any of the corners are drying up, you would wet them too to keep it moist. And those paints will stay fresh for up to 3 weeks if you come in and mist it every once in a while. And even if you don't, this cover, if it's on here tightly, it will keep the paints fresh, and you can just hop right back into what you're painting. So this is a pretty cool thing to have. I really appreciate it because, like I said, I don't get back to having some of these things, doing some of these paintings for a while. We're traveling or we're doing whatever. And so that's where we're at with this particular canvas. I'll take a picture of this so you have some reference to go by as we're doing the painting. So, and it'll be on the finished product as well. But for now, it has to be propped up so I have limited room here, so it's got to be propped up somewhere where I can see it nearby. So, but let's get started, okay? Okay, we have our paints ready, we got our picture set up, and I've done just a little bit of drawing here so I got an idea of where the stuff is going to be. The mountains in the background there. So, I don't think that we quite finished with our clouds. So, I'm going to lighten up this side of the painting because there's some clouds coming in from the right. It's kind of a hazy day out there, and the last time I used this turquoise and some ultramarine and some purple, and it's pretty interesting because when I was looking at it the last time, the purple you could really see the purple on there. So I did kind of lighten it up with the blue and the turquoise and the ultramarine. So let's put this over here so it's closer. You guys always want to have a paper towel handy so you can dab either your paintbrush or get extra moisture off of it, or to wipe off your paintbrush when you're changing colors. So you also want to use an old t-shirt because this acrylic paint, once it dries on your clothes, it's not going to come off. Just be aware that if the paint dries on your nice clothes, they'll be ruined. So if you can catch the paint before it dries, you have a good chance of getting it out of there. But if it dries, it's going to be a bad result. And I'm gonna try and fill in some of these lighter spots, but I do want to lighten up, blending some clouds in there. It's a little bit too turquoisey for my taste, but it does have a band of lighter blue in there. And another thing to know is acrylics dry darker. You don't really want a hard line, like you don't want to paint a line because you'll have a ridge on any kind of hard line that you do. I'm going to just dab around, try and blend it. And I kind of like using the smaller brushes because I can get a little bit more detail in there. And since I'm trying to lighten it up, I'm just going to kind of go across and blend it as best as I can. Try and cover up some of the bare spots because I didn't put enough paint on it. It's really, really light up here at the top. And the wonderful thing about acrylic paints is if you make a mistake, you can cover it up. But I really loved that view up at Keys View. It was so beautiful up there. And I really like this lone cactus in the foreground here. So I'm just gonna blend in some clouds here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. If you do it like when the paints are still wet, it's way easier to blend. Just want to do a little dab in here and there. See, already this side looks a lot lighter. And you kind of want to maybe scrumble, call it scumbling, scruffing it up so it looks loose. and not all straight, hard lines on there. I used to watch this guy called Jerry Yarnell on PBS. He was the master. Very detailed. I like to have my canvas down on the table like this so I can move it around as I need to. So you have over on this side, you have a little bit more turquoise in the picture. But you can also add to lighten or darken. You can use other colors other than black and white. But I'm also going to add a lot more ultramarine to it to darken it up a little bit. Let's feather this in a little bit. Let me get this a little bit wet. Yeah, Jerry Yarnell is a master. His paintings are so detailed. He takes several episodes to do one painting. I would really like to go and visit him in Oklahoma. I believe he lives in Oklahoma. You know, they say things are not uniform in nature, but sometimes you have things that are perfectly uniform in nature, so it's not always the case. And it doesn't have to be the exact same picture that I'm seeing on here. I'm using a little bit of artist license to do my rendition of this, you know? Probably should use a bigger brush for this. Let's use a bigger brush, shall we? Okay, this is done drying, so I can actually do a little bit more here and there. I did want to say that even though this paint sticks on your clothes, if you get any on your skin, it washes right off. I don't know if you can see it from there, but these back mountains are not brown. But I did want to get them a little bit darker color. They are kind of like a bluish gray. So we can use a little bit of this blue and white, and you can still add a little bit of purple in there and black. The normal piece of this paper is just about the size of this palette, so I'm only using like half of it here. And we can still mess around with the sky too, but after we put that cactus in there, it will be difficult to do anything more with the sky. So you gotta pretty much be done with the background. We're putting it in. See how dark it is right now? It'll be darker when it dries. So this is the background, the back mountain back there. I really love this picture. I've been looking forward to starting to paint again. But part of it is trying to find room to set up in here, and then our regular schedule. I do work camping here, and I'm about to get more hours, so I work at the front gate, and then also I'm going to be doing some housekeeping. So you could have a little bit of this brown coming through, but that mountain is not really brown back there. So you just take a little bit of, you know, you can lighten it up here and there because it's hazy back there. I just wanted to be able to distinguish between the front and the back. Well, these mountains back here are not brown. These ones up here in front are. So let's get to doing those. And you can see the ridges on these mountains. So let's start to develop some ridges. Apples have ridges. Not good at rolling my tongue. Add maybe some yellow to that. You know, purple is pretty versatile. So it's like really dark up at the top of those mountains. So Sometimes purple is pretty amazing, and how it can darken up. You know, when you think of darkening stuff, it's usually black. Watch how dark this will get. I took a class one time at the Hobby Lobby to do a Bob Ross kind of painting, and it was with palette knives. That was pretty interesting class. So yeah, this work camping thing has been a lot of fun. So many new people to meet. It's been pretty awesome. We have a couple of neighbors that have started a weekly Sunday night dinner, and so many people have come and joined us. So you see what I'm kind of doing, making the ridge here. See that? That'll come right off. I like to hold this in this hand and while I paint. While that paint is a little wet still, I can move in with other stuff. You can add greens in here. You guys don't have to do the same thing that I'm doing. You can greens, browns, yellow, blend it in just like that. Some of the mountaintops are, the sunlight is hitting some of them, lightens them up. I don't remember what time of year we went. It was probably in the winter or early spring. Oh yeah, we saw Heart Rock there too. Let's put a little green. Let's mix a little yellow in there and a little yellow ochre in there. How you guys doing out there? Hanging in? Okay. Alright, it's gotten a little windy outside, so I apologize for that. And you have this other mountainside that looks like coming in like this. When I do something that I don't like, this little ball right here, just get done doing it, or I can lighten up this little line here just by putting some water on it. Let's lay in some little bushes that are on the edge there. Let's try a little bit of blue in there. Ultramarine blue. See how much darker this will get. See that right there? It's pretty light. Paint some rocks in front of here so it doesn't matter what the bottoms of these bushes look like, because there's rocks and looks like in front of all of them. We're working our way up to the front of the painting, so we're working our way forward. And although there's like scattered little greenery like that around, and there's another little bush right here in the foreground, I'm going to wait till I lay down the sandy ground there. I think it's great that if I get busy doing something else, I can just spray these paints and come back to them whenever I can. See, this is going to dry really dark here. Maybe I should try some of this orange. That's what we'll do. Yes. Perfect. A little bit lighter. A little bit lighter now. A little bit lighter now. I do like that orange in there. GoPro batteries are overheating. I don't know if it's because it's near the window here or what the dealio is. It's okay to let some of this color show through. And the little pencil that I drew the edge there, it's just white chalk pencils. So once we get this covered, we can come back in here and put some little rocks and little greenery. You just want a varied texture there. Lighten it up here. And it looks like it's lighter like around this area here. Maybe a little bit over to here. That's where the sun is hitting it over here. We can even put some little desert flowers in there. I think that's a possibility. This is the desert. Alright, we covered our canvas. You guys are gonna like this. So I'm working on this other, or I have been for a while, this other painting that was done in Eureka Springs. Really like this orange in here. Alright, so let's let that dry. And then when we start to put our rocks in and different things, little bushes and that, then we can draw out where that one lone cactus is going to be. Sound like a plan? I think it is. Alright, you guys. I think I'm going to stop here and I'll catch up with you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with me. Do you have a question, comment, or suggestion? Please let us know. We like talking to you. We'd sure appreciate you liking and subscribing to our channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell, and please share with your friends.